I go on Triad Today, and we're going to get into a topic I've never tackled before, and that is understanding construction law. We're all homeowners, or most of us are, and sometimes we have problems with the way something's been built, or there are all sorts of problems that can arise, and we're going to try to tackle a couple of them now. Jay Parr, Director, if we can meet our special guest, Brian Simpson, who comes to us from our friends at the Dummit Law Firm. Welcome, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
What are some of the broad issues in construction law that our viewers might be interested in?
Construction law is it's a very broad area of the law. It involves quite a few aspects, from very large projection contracts to even smaller ones. It involves players such as banks, architects, engineers, contractors.
So this is commercial or residential?
Correct. Any of a number of legal disputes can arise in this area of the law, including issues with financing, whether or not financing was properly obtained. There could be issues with the plans drawn up by the architect or by the engineer. There could be issues with payment to contractors.
Or subcontractors.
Or subcontractors, that's correct.
So if I'm doing the work, and if I have a small business and I'm laying the carpet or something, and I don't get paid what I thought I was going to get paid, then that's a dispute too.
That's correct.
So all sorts of things. You and I were talking off camera before we started rolling tape about a scenario, and as a homeowner, you know the drill here. You have an X amount of time where the warranty supposedly runs out on a home. Mm-hmm. But then there has to be this gray area of things that happen to a home, but you don't expect. I mean, and so how are these kind of things resolved? I mean, do you just have to go to a lawyer and do it? Because obviously the builder is going to stand by the warranty.
That's correct. And unfortunately, situations like that are on a case-by-case basis, and they get very tricky. It can be difficult to tell if you've got a legal remedy outside of the warranty period. In some circumstances, you may make the argument that you couldn't have discovered the error or the omission during that warranty period, and it should be extended.
You know, this could be things like if you put a roof on and a standard shingle needs, let's say, 4 nails in it, and it starts leaking 3 years after you're in the house, and you discover there's only 1 nail per, Is that the kind of thing you're talking about, things that you discover later? Or?
Along those lines, yes. As a general rule, when you contract for that warranty period, you're obligated to that. But if you were able to make an argument that, despite your best efforts, it really was not within your power to have discovered that mistake in the time.
How are these disputes generally resolved?
There are a number of ways to resolve these disputes. Because construction projects are contractual in nature, a very straightforward contractual lawsuit is often the way that these are resolved. Depending on the sophistication of the parties and the contract that they have entered into, there may be an arbitration agreement, which is where the parties agree to submit their claim to a board of arbitrators and are then bound after the arbitrators determine
whatever they say happens.
That's correct.
But how can you avoid all the kind of things we're talking about, going to court, the legal disputes, having to get a lawyer? How can that all be avoided?
Careful planning on the front end. If you take time to look at contracts, if you take time to make sure that you enter into contracts with people who are going to honor those obligations, maybe you can check their references. Most contractors have to have licenses. They're insured and bonded. And subcontractors and contractors also have other statutory rights with construction liens to protect their interests.
And still, even so, as we mentioned before, there can things that can arise, and maybe you don't anticipate in the contract, and that's when they need, folks like me would need your services, go to the Dummit Law Firm or something. Now, what kind of services would you provide to individuals or businesses or subcontractors or homeowners or whatever if one of these disputes come up and I'm just tearing my hair out? What do you help me with?
Sure. Well, first of all, we can help on the front end. We can review contracts for you. We can draw them up. We can review proposed contracts, inform you as to what your rights are and what rights you may be forfeiting, particularly with arbitration. We have expansive knowledge in mediation and arbitration. We can negotiate effective settlements, and we can present your case to a jury if we had to do that.
Well, you're doing the whole thing, the whole 9 yards, and it's really great you're offering that service. There's the website up there, www.nclawyer.com.